Why, as a cocaine addict, I didn't smoke crack is when it comes to addiction, I don't think a lot of people understand how insane we are in the brain. And there is a big difference between smoking crack and using cocaine, even though it's essentially the same substance. Crack, of course, is mixed a little bit differently, cooked up, and then it's smoked as a rock, and you're inhaling the vapors, where coke, you're just snorting it straight up your nose. But addicts, we are weird, picky individuals, and this is why I never ended up smoking any crack, but yet I was massively addicted to cocaine to the point I was doing an 2 8-balls a day. If you're new to the channel, hit the like and subscribe button. What's up, guys? My name is Eric, and I'm a recovering cocaine and alcoholic addict. Those were my drugs of choice. And one of the drugs that I had never done and people have asked about is cocaine and crack. Crack and cocaine, crack cocaine. Why I never did it. So if you don't know, crack is a rock form of cocaine that is cooked up, a couple different ingredients added to it, and you smoke it as a rock. I have friends that smoked crack. It was just one of those things I never did. But now when it came to the powder substance, which was cocaine, that I had no problem putting up my nose. And as an addict, we truly form this like drug of choice, like our choice way to get high. And once we find it, once we kind of like give ourselves to that, it's almost like we do not deviate. I had no desire, no intent in the world at all to smoke crack. And I think a lot of it even had to do with my mentality of cocaine didn't have a bad stigma. Cocaine was this rich person's drug. It was a expensive drug. It wasn't bad, if that makes sense. Like I had this huge stigma around coke and made up belief in my head that cocaine was not bad. That you could never really get addicted to cocaine, but crack you could. And I never wanted to be amped up that much. Cocaine essentially became one of my coping tools almost for drinking too much. It was what helped me sober back up, supposedly, in my head. So drinking and cocaine was the way to go, where with crack, I knew it was highly addictive. It was a scary drug to me. It was a dirty drug to me. It was something I just didn't really want to mess with. I didn't want to go down that route. The coke dealers that I knew were not quite like the crack dealers that I knew. There was a difference in them, believe it or not. But it was a drug that it literally had a different persona in my head that if I use crack, if I smoke crack, that yeah, maybe it does hit harder. It hits your system differently because they do. I mean, people will IV drugs, they'll smoke drugs, they'll snort drugs, and it all hits your system differently. But when you become an addict, you really form, I almost feel that this obsession, this drug of choice, and the way to use your drug of choice. And crack to me was just scary. It was something scary that I never wanted to smoke. I didn't want to put it into my body because I felt it was different than what cocaine was. And cocaine was safe. Nobody could have told me otherwise that cocaine was not safe because I truly believed it was. You don't see people necessarily ODing on coke. You don't see broke people doing coke. You don't see homeless people doing coke. So obviously this is the right drug to do. I mean, that's how messed up we do get as an addict. But I never did cocaine because it scared me. Or crack, excuse me, because it scared me. Cocaine didn't scare me. Crack, though, on the other hand, smoking something, seeing those vapors, it scared me. I did not want to do it. I had no problem smoking cigarettes, but when it came to smoking a drug like that, it literally scared me. I figured that the odds of ODing were higher. I felt that, I didn't want to have to experience what maybe it did to me. And I think there are a lot of addicts out there like that, and people don't get that. Just because somebody is addicted to one drug doesn't mean that they're doing all drugs per se, and it doesn't mean that they use all drugs in all forms. I mean, I have met meth addicts that the only way they ever use meth is literally putting it into coffee. So again, everybody takes these drugs differently. So just because somebody is an addict doesn't necessarily always mean that you're also going to realize that they're an addict because of how they use. When it comes to a lot of people who IV drugs, you don't see all the track marks. I mean, movies and everything present track marks as just being on our arms. But I know a lot of IV users that don't put it in their arms. They put it in between their toes, in between their fingers, underneath their tongue. So again, there are lots of stigmas around it. And for the addicts out there, a lot of us, you'll never really know how we use the drug or why we use it the way we do. And we don't even know why we use drugs the way we do. And that is the insanity of addiction. It's the hardest thing to explain addiction to somebody who's never been an addict because it literally doesn't make sense. And I share just my story. I share my experiences just because I know what it's like to struggle out there. I know what it's like to try and get sober. I've been sober since 7/25/17. And people not understand what really an addict is, and it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. And for us though, going through it, it does. Like, the insanity makes sense. And that's why I share. So for the ones struggling out there, hit the like and follow button, comment down below. It's great to share your story. It's great to share your experiences, because other addicts out there, when we're going through that sobriety, we thrive on seeing success. We thrive on seeing other people going through what we're going through. Just knowing that we're not alone, and that's what it's about. So for the one out there going through it, hit that like and follow button, comment down below, and believe in yourself. Know that it will get better, and know that it is worth it.